Hi, this is Adriana in Long Beach, and in this video, I am going to be discussing some scams and frauds that particularly target our seniors and give some resources on how to protect our seniors from these types of frauds. For those of you who follow my channel, you know that I recently did a video based on the fact that one of the seniors at my church actually succumbed to an Amazon phone scam and ended up giving away a lot of his or her personal information. You can see my video on how to avoid Amazon phone scams here, and I also link it in the description. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing 3 types of fraud. One is deed theft, where they actually steal your house by stealing the title. The second is bank account theft, where they take possession of your bank account so they can draw all the money out of it. And the third is text scams, where they text you pretending to be someone that you know, either a person or an organization, so they can scam you out of your money. Now, these methods that I'm going to share with you, these resources, will be linked in the description, but none of them are 100% secure. You can be vigilant. In fact, you must be, but there's always a chance that you will be defrauded, you or your senior will be defrauded. But if you use these resources and practice these methods, that chance decreases, which is what we're trying to do. If you find these resources helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel, and please share this video. Okay, now let's get into these frauds. Okay, so about debt fraud, I want you guys to check out this KTLA story, downright frightening, about a disabled woman, goddess have mercy, who had her home stolen through title fraud. A man got another woman to pretend to be the homeowner with a fake ID and fake documents, walked into a notary public, had the pretend homeowner sign over the deed to her house to the man. He then registered that deed with the Los Angeles County Registrar. Then, showing that he was the owner of the house, he took out a refi on the house, withdrew money on top of what was owed on the loan, paid off her original loan, but now she owes way more. And the lender, since the fraudster has disappeared, is trying to snatch her house as collateral. She had to go to court. She had to hire a lawyer. The notary public said, "That's not the lady who came to my office and signed the documents." Well, of course it isn't, because the lady who came to the office walked up some stairs to get there, and the homeowner's been in a wheelchair since forever. Even so, the court case has proceeded. She's still spending money on a lawyer, still fighting to not have her home snatched by the lender who lent to a fraudster. Whew. So, what is something you can do to avoid having your home snatched through title or deed fraud? The first thing you can do is to not give away your information to the fraudster so that he can easily get a fake ID made to have someone pretend to be you, the homeowner. That's the first thing. But it doesn't matter if you don't give the information away. It could still somehow be stolen or obtained, correct? So the other thing you can do is to get title insurance. And I'm not going to go into exactly what title insurance is, because Michael Schuster, who describes himself as an award-winning realtor from the city of Toronto, has a very good, concise, straightforward video to explain it to you. Now, Michael Schuster is in Toronto, Canada. I chose this video as a resource because it's short. It does a very good job of explaining. It's very straightforward, very clear, and I thought it would be a great video for you to share with your senior or other family members to help you convince grandma, grandpa, whoever, pops, mom, to get title insurance. But you will need to check with the real estate professional in your state to make sure that the things that he's saying completely apply to the real estate laws where you live or where Pops lives or where Mama lives. So I am going to put the link to this video in the description, but he does a very good job of explaining title insurance and kind of going over how title fraud works. So that's the first resource. This is a Los Angeles Times column 1 story by consumer reporter David Lazarus. It's about this incredibly unfortunate La Palma couple who had their bank account stolen from them. It was stolen by a fraudster who logged in as them, changed the information so that the checks were going to the fraudster's house, then wrote the checks to himself or herself. And I want you to pay particular attention to one part of the story because it goes directly to the types of resources and solutions I'm suggesting for you to keep this from happening to your senior. I have linked to the story in the video description, but I want to just focus on this one part because it's quite disturbing. So this La Palma couple, seniors, banked at Chase, and somehow or another, even though they lived in La Palma, Chase didn't say anything when the fraudster had the check sent to New York. This couple had the same bills month after month. They didn't go on vacation or make extravagant purchases, but Chase didn't notice when a $22,000 check was written all at once from this account. That didn't make any alarm bells go off. This is directly related to one of the things I'm going to discuss about how to avoid having your bank account stolen. Now, it's Adriana, so you know I was bound to say something political. If you do not want your bank account stolen, stop banking at banks. To them, you are just a number and they don't know you. Switch your financial organization over to a credit union. The smaller number of branches, the better. Because if you walk into a tiny little credit union and your grandpa or grandma, you're some senior, the teller's, "Oh, Mrs. So-and-so." The teller, "Oh, Mr. So-and-so." They know you. They know when your Social Security check comes because they remember that you come in on the 15th. They would be alarmed if a $22,000 check from your account came across their desk because they know that your biggest bill is your house payment every month. When your establishment knows you, they know your habits. And when they know your habits, they're more likely to be alarmed when something that is not habitual for you happens. At a Chase, at a Wells Fargo, at a WAMU, you are nothing but a number. They're not even there to serve you. They're there to serve their shareholders. Most credit unions are nonprofits, and the members own it. So they're actually there to serve you. So stop going to a place where you're just a number and the red flags like the ones that I pointed out in the Los Angeles Times article can be ignored because it's just the algorithm and it has a glitch and burps right over that $22,000 check coming out of your account, and start banking at a credit union where the people know you, recognize your habits. Next, we're going to get into some more technological solutions for how to decrease the likelihood that your bank account will be stolen. One thing that you already know you should have done for your senior, in fact, you already know you should have done it for yourself, but you haven't yet done it, is enable two-step verification on your banking institution, your financial institution. I know it's a pain in the ass. When you want to see your money, you want to bloop, bloop, bloop and see your money. You don't want to go through that extra 15 seconds and get the blah, 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 blah. But do it anyway. It is an excellent deterrent to fraud. Two-step verification, and I have a link in the video description to a video that shows how it works for banking. It's for some banking institution, but they all work the same way. Is when you log into your bank, you put in your login, your email or whatever your little login name is, and then you put in your password. If you don't have two-step verification, you hit enter and your banking information comes up, which means that if a hacker has put malware on your computer and then stolen your keystrokes when you were typing in your banking information, then they too can log in as you and make changes, have checks sent to their house instead of yours, etc., etc. If you had two-step verification, you would put your login name, then you would put your password, and you would hit enter, and then a code would be sent somewhere. Somewhere could be your email. Somewhere could be a text on your mobile device. Somewhere could be a telephone call. And you would take that code and enter it into the website of your bank, and then your banking information would show up. The idea being that someone who wanted to pretend to be you would have to have access to your device or would have to have access to your email. You've already heard all this. When Leon Panetta didn't have two-step verification, a hacker was able to get into his emails, spread them all over town, and Hillary lost the election. So you already know about that. But here's the part that's particular for seniors. There is a way for hackers to bypass two-step verification on your mobile device and have the code sent to their mobile device instead of your mobile device. But you could put the phone number to where the code is sent to your landline phone so that it's a telephone call as opposed to a text or an email, right? Both of which can be compromised. So the hacker would have to be in your mom and dad's house, in grandma and grandpa's house, in your house if you're the senior and you're watching this, and they would have to pick up the phone and hear the code and type it into the computer to get in. That is not very likely. So when you enable two-step verification, choose the call me with the code option and make sure that it goes to your landline phone, not your mobile device. Most seniors do not use their smart devices out in the street to do mobile banking anyway. They do it right there in their house at the desktop. So it's okay that it's on their landline phone. But the best way to do two-step verification is to do it with a physical verification key. And I have a picture of one here in the slide. It looks like a flash drive, but it's got some little extra chip-looking things at the tip of it. And it's this cryptography, something, something, something. You don't need to know all that. But the point is, you take the key, and when your banking institution needs the second step of verification, you stick the key in the computer. And if the scammer, hacker, fraudster doesn't have the physical key, they're not getting in. And the key can stay right there on mom and dad's desk next to the computer. They don't have to remember to have the phone nearby when they call to get the code. They don't have to write down the code and then walk back over to the computer, put it in. They just pick the key up, stick it in the hole. And this key, this physical key, wouldn't just be for two-step verifying your banking institution. It could be two-step verifying any website that you want to visit that's requiring two-step verification. So you buy one key and you put multiple two-step verifications on it. The reason a lot of people don't know about these keys, or they think they're too hard to program. They're not that hard to program. There's plenty of YouTube videos on there that can walk you through it. You do it once for all mom and dad's websites, and then it's done. But they do cost money, so you can shop on Amazon for them. I have a link in the description to a New York Times article about the best physical keys. That is the best way, and it's also the simplest way for mom and dad. They know about keys, right? Pick something up, stick the key in the computer, unlock your bank account. That really is the best way. I highly recommend it. So now you have enabled two-step verification and you have switched over to the credit union. There's one more thing that you or mom and dad needs to do. Now, sometimes seniors do not have a smart device, so there are a couple of ways you can do this. You need to enable alerts on your financial institution. Typically, you log in or you download their app and you tell them in the alert section, every time there is a withdrawal from my account over XYZ amount, it could be above and beyond the cost of your house payment, whatever your biggest payment is each month, make it above or beyond that. I want a daily balance every day at 5 p.m. Tell me what my daily balance is, or every day at 6 a.m., a daily balance alert. And you should be getting an alert anytime someone attempts to log in to your bank from a device that the computer doesn't recognize. So make sure that when you enable two-step verification, you are sitting in mom and dad's house. Or senior, you are sitting in your own house. Don't go over to your adult son or daughter's house to have them help you with it. Have them come over to your house, because the bank is looking at the IP address, the individualized number associated with your phone, your iPad, your desktop. And the bank uses that information to recognize when it's another device that you don't typically use. So when you get all set up and enable two-step verification, do it from the device you're typically going to use to do your online banking. And then set up alerts from there to again, tell you what your daily balance is. Get it in the morning or the afternoon. That's up to you. Evening, I mean. To give you an alert every time there's a withdrawal from your account above XYZ amount. Imagine if that La Palma couple had known right away that there was a withdrawal from their account for $22,000. Maybe if they had caught that right when it happened, they could have ran over to the bank and got this resolved a lot quicker. And also that alert of when anytime there's an unfamiliar device that tries to log into your account, to let you know. Imagine if they've got that right when their account was changed. They could have run over to Chase and said, that was not us that did that. Stop this person. So set up the alerts. And here's the thing. Alerts will not help you if you're not paying attention. So if you're a senior and you know that you don't check your email every day, then what you need to do is have the alert go to your adult son or daughter's email, so that if there is something to be alerted about, your adult son or daughter who always has the phone in their pocket, always checking their email, will get it. If you are the senior and you do have a mobile device, but you don't always have it on, that is not the mobile device to download the banking app and have the alert sent to. An alert is supposed to be something that you're going to pay attention to right when it happens. So you have to decide where the alert is going to go. Should it go to your adult son or daughter's email or your email? Should your adult son or daughter download the app for your banking institution onto their phone, log in as you from their phone, and plug it and manage the alerts? So those are things you have to figure out, but it's got to be going somewhere that it's going to get noticed if it does ping. So remember when I said in the video that a co-congregant of mine had succumbed to an Amazon phone scam, and that person gave away his or her information, unfortunately, and the scammer even had the person doing things on their computer. Ooh, so when I heard that, the first thing that I did was telephone a sibling of that congregant and let them know, hey, if the scammer got into your sib's computer, then they probably got to your sib's contacts. And the first thing the scammer is going to do is reach out to those contacts and use the sibling's name, the co-congregant's name, to either pretend to be the co-congregant to get money out of the contacts, or just use the co-congregant's name to get credibility. Like, hey, so-and-so had their information hacked and I helped them. Let me help you because it looks like your information on Amazon got hacked too. That type of thing. And now when I say contacts, this co-congregant did not actually use their email. You know how it has contacts and you can put the people's information in there. They didn't actually purposely put that information in there, but they emailed so many people, their family, their people from our church regularly, that their email account captured a lot of information. And that's supposed to be for your convenience, but it also allows hackers to get your contacts information, even if you didn't sit there and type in or import all your contact information. So a week after that congregant was compromised, people at church started getting text messages from someone saying that they were a reverend at the church taking up a collection for this, that, and a third, and asking the congregants to donate by clicking on a link and putting in their credit card information or using some sort of digital platform to pay. So I want to go over how seniors can avoid being victims of a text scam. So the first thing you want to warn seniors to do, and seniors, if you're watching this, the first thing you need to do, simply ignore any text that is asking for money. Any monetary solicitation, just ignore it. Because the organizations and associations that you're a part of, if they are running a legitimate fundraising campaign, they will contact you a number of ways. They're going to mail you a letter, and that letter is going to have a return envelope for your donation, and you'll be able to verify that the address on the return envelope actually belongs to the organization that you're associated with. They are going to call you, right? And it will be a member of the church or the brownie troop or the whatever, and you'll recognize their voice and the things that they're saying. I'm so-and-so's mom, or I sit on the such and such committee at church, will make sense. And they won't have a foreign accent. I mean, just saying. So if they really want your money and they are a legitimate organization, they are not just going to text you. In fact, First Church doesn't even use text messages as the initial form of communication when they do their stewardship campaign. They may text people that they know actually use text as a follow-up, but that's not the first way they ask people to make a contribution to the church family. So if you see a text and it's like, money this, money that, please send us money, ignore it. Ignore it. If it's not a scam, that organization will contact you another way. The second thing that seniors need to be warned about is do not, under any circumstances, click a link or URL that is in the text. Even if the URL says www.firstchurchlb.org and you know that that's actually the website for First Church, do not click it, because those links lead to websites that are faked to look like the actual organization. But even on those fake websites, the credit card processing on the donate page is totally real. But if you put your credit card in there, the money simply won't be going to the organization you thought it was going to. If you think, well, no, my organization, my church really is having a fundraiser. Okay, then, okay. Go to your desktop computer and type in the domain name of your organization in the browser yourself. Still do not click the links in the text. Those are fake links. Worse yet, they may lead to websites that are meant to put spyware and malware on your device so that they can get into your information, either to steal your contacts and contact them and solicit them for money, or worse yet, they're hoping that you unlock your email by typing in your login name and password, or better yet, that you go to your bank and type in your login name and password, and they can capture that information on your phone. So under no circumstances, click any links, any domain names, any website URLs that are in those texts. They're fakes, they're scams. The next thing I want to tell you applies whether or not somebody emails you or telephone calls you or texts you. If that person is claiming to be from an organization that you do business with or with which you are associated, check them out. Smartly, a few of my co-congregants who got these texts saying, I'm Reverend so-and-so from First Church and I'm taking up a collection, they called the church secretary. They said, I've never heard of Reverend so-and-so. Is there a new Reverend at First Church? And the church secretary is like, absolutely not. It's a fake. Don't give that person any money. Click, right? Go to the organization website, again, that you typed in yourself in your browser, and go to the staff page. Is there a Reverend so-and-so at the church? If so, he or she will be listed on the staff page. Open up a letter that you had previously received from the organization and look in the side column where they list who the CEO is, who the VP is, or who the Reverend is, who the associated Reverend is. If you don't see Reverend so-and-so's name, then that person is faking you out and they're not really from the organization. If they claim to be a reverend that actually is part of the organization, but they are calling you or emailing you or texting you, is the phone number that's showing up on your caller ID the same area code and prefix as the phone number for the church or organization's letterhead? If they're emailing you, is the domain name, what comes after, Reverend so-and-so at, is the domain name exactly the same as the one for your organization? And even if all the answers to those questions are yes, you should still pick up the phone, call the organization's number and say, are you having a fundraiser? And if so, is the person doing the collecting named Reverend so-and-so or whatever name they're giving you? I want to talk about what you can do after your senior has been scammed, but you could even do this as a preventative measure before. The thing that you don't want to happen if it ends up that your senior has their information taken from them through fakery, you don't want anyone to pretend to be your senior in order to say and take out a credit card, take out a bank loan, get any kind of credit. So in order for that not to happen, the first thing you would want to do is to freeze the credit of your senior. This means contacting Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax and putting a credit freeze on all three of those services so that any company that would be thinking about issuing credit to someone using your senior's name would be able to access their credit history and therefore would deny the credit application. Freezes can be lifted and they can be done easily. So here's the thing. It's a pain in the ass to contact Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian individually. There are services that make it easier, and your senior may already be paying for the service. Let me tell you what happened with the senior with whom I was working. I said, listen, we have to protect your identity now that you've given your information away. We have to do this, that, and the third. And the senior said to me, I subscribe to AOL. And along with that subscription, I am paying $9.99 a month for ID protection and for computer protection. So I don't think the person should be able to put any malware on my computer because I'm paying for this service. I said, oh. So then I went to the AOL website and I saw that they had a program for ID protection for $9.99 and they had a program for computer protection for $9.99. I said, well, did you get the ID protection or did you get the computer protection? I said, I'm not sure, but I thought they told me it covered both. So I telephoned AOL and they had HAD, a program called AOL Advantage Essentials, and it was a really good program. It came with identity protection, it came with computer protection, and then it had a host of other benefits, including insurance for up to, I think, $750 in case your computer was hacked and you had a ransomware attack or you had something or the other and it had to be cleaned up. The senior with whom I had been working had been paying for AOL Advantage Essentials since 2013. But that person had never activated it. Activating it would have meant visiting the AOL My Benefits page, downloading the antivirus, anti-spyware software and installing it on the person's computer, and then logging into LifeLock, that was the service that came with the Advantage Essentials, and using LifeLock to do the credit freeze for Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So this senior's telling me, I have this protection, I'm paying for this protection, and it was a good program, but no program is going to be effective if it is not actually activated. So if grandma, grandpa, mom, pop, whoever is telling you, oh no, I have computer protection, I have ID protection because I'm paying XYZ amount. And again, the AOL Advantage Essentials program is no longer available, but AOL has other programs that do ID protection, computer protection, and a $14.99 a month one. That's actually pretty good with the added benefits that does both. Make sure that you contact the service provider that your senior is paying to make sure that the senior has actually activated the program for which they are paying. For years, this person had been paying for this program and it wasn't doing them any good because they had not activated it. The other service that frequently comes with some form of halfway decent protection comes from your cable provider. But I need to warn you about that as well. So after I actually activated the ID protection and computer protection on my one senior's computer and ID, I went over to the sibling's house and I looked at the sibling's computer. Now, the sibling started out with Verizon Fios, and the sibling was paying $9.99 for protection through Verizon Fios for the sibling's computer. Verizon Fios was purchased by Frontier. The bill continued to have the money on it for computer protection, but Frontier never reminded the sibling that the sibling was supposed to download Frontier's software for antivirus and anti-malware and activate it. They carried over the charge, but the senior had never visited the Frontier website and downloaded Frontier's, it's called Frontier Secure, their software, and had never activated it. So that senior should never have been charged all those months from, and I mean all those months, because this sibling had been paying that money from the time that Frontier purchased Verizon Fios, but never had activated that antivirus, anti-malware software. So I got on the phone with Frontier and I said, what business did you have charging this customer when you knew that they had never activated the service? How are you going to charge them for a service they never activated? And you just carried that charge over from Verizon and did not remind the customer that they needed to pull down from your server new software. So not only were you charging the customer for a service they were not using, you also left them vulnerable because they did not have active antivirus, anti-malware protection. And I bitched and moaned and was able to get a credit to the senior's account. So if your senior tells you, I am paying for computer protection, I'm paying through my ISP, look at that bill, go onto the ISP website, make sure that the senior's computer actually has the proper software from that ISP. I like using the ISP's antivirus, anti-malware protection because typically it does not have to be manually updated. You pull it down once, you install it, and the ISP communicates with your senior's computer to make sure that the updates are continual. So the senior's never going to get the pop-ups that say, there's a new update for your anti-malware, anti-spyware software. Click here. That can be confusing to the senior. If you're using the ISP, you don't typically have to do that. So as I said before, you should do a credit freeze and credit monitoring for ID protection, and you should have some type of antivirus, anti-malware software on your senior's desktop, and if they use a tablet, on that too, and if they use a phone, on that too. That's another reason I like to use the ISP's anti-malware, antiviral software, because it's often multi-device. Frontier Secure, it's multi-device, so I was able to download it to the sibling's desktop and to the sibling's iPad and to the sibling's smartphone. So that was a benefit. So make sure that your senior has both types of protection, computer protection and ID protection. Now, I want to tell you about ID protection. And what I want to say is do not purchase LifeLock. So yes, you want to make sure that your senior has computer protection. Additionally, you want to make sure that your senior has ID protection. Computer protection means antivirus, anti-malware software on not only his or her desktop, but on their tablet if they use one, on their smartphone if they use one. That is another reason I like using the ones provided by the ISP because typically they are multi-device. For ID protection, that means a credit freeze and credit monitoring. And I want to talk about ID protection just for a second. The most popular, most well-known ID protection service is LifeLock. But I do not recommend that your senior purchase LifeLock directly. Not because LifeLock isn't good. It is actually quite good. But because the prices that LifeLock charges the individual that visits the LifeLock website to make a purchase for the service are higher priced than what your senior could get if LifeLock was part of a bundle for a organization offering the service and your senior is already part of the organization. AARP offers identity protection and it comes with LifeLock. And if you're an AARP member, the ID protection, I think it's ID protection plus computer protection, is very well priced. Costco offers ID protection that comes with LifeLock. And if you're a Costco member, the subscription is very well priced. AAA offers something, I don't know if it has LifeLock, but the benefits that come with it are very similar to LifeLock. And if you're a AAA member, it's very well priced. So I don't have any problems with LifeLock. It's a good service, but I don't recommend purchasing that directly. Your senior is already part of some organization, their bank, their credit union, something, their credit card is already offering a subscription service that has LifeLock as part of it with the credit freeze available and the credit monitoring available. Buy something like that, but don't buy it directly from LifeLock. Buy it as a bundle as part of an organization that your senior is already part of. And it's not a bad idea for the family. Sometimes if all of the family's AAA members, or if all the family's Costco members, or all the family belong to such credit union, you can even get a better deal and have multiple people's ID protected because you all are purchasing the subscription together. And that is just such a good idea for anybody. At least the credit monitoring, so that you will know immediately if another person has pretended to be you and applied for some kind of loan or some kind of Macy's credit card or something of that nature. But there's no need for it to be purchased directly from LifeLock because you could get it more affordably if you're already a member of some other organization. Okay, we have gone over quite a bit of information. I hope you have found it helpful. I want to tell you that if there are certain segments of this video that you think would be relevant to someone and you want to share, but you don't think they'll watch like the whole video, in the description, I have timestamps which allow you to share a URL that goes directly to a certain part of the video. So check those out. Please do share this video with your family members, your friends, the seniors that you know. Please share it on social media. And remember to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found this information of benefit.